everybody, Becca here and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're just going to do a little chit chat. I'm assuming you saw the title of this to stop buying PDF patterns. And I don't mean to just completely stop, but I want you to stop and think before you buy them. It is almost, I'll say a trap. It's a trap for these sites to have these sales and load up your carts, get all your patterns that you've been eyeing. Because the reality is, if you go and buy 5 patterns, 10 patterns, most likely you are not going to sew up all of those patterns. And if you do sew them all up, you are not going to be sewing them up in the next like 3 months. And maybe you will. So if that is you, then disregard all of this. But I can almost guarantee that there's going to be at least one pattern that gets pushed behind and forgotten, if not more, that you just wasted your money on to buy it during the sale. So the way I look at it is we're going to just say $10 is a pattern company's base pattern price, and they are running a 30% off sale. So all of their patterns are now $7 on sale. So you run to their site and you load up your cart and you buy 5 patterns that you have been seeing and you love. And you might not have plans to make those yet, but you're saving $3 on each pattern, right? Well, yes, you are, but are you really saving money? And that's what you have to look at. We're going to say for this example, we're going to say you don't sew up 2 of those patterns, or you sew those up in a year in the future, or it's summertime and you buy those to sew up in the winter. And you didn't need to spend that $14 on that now. So you wait and you pay full price for those patterns when you need them. So you don't buy those 2 patterns now, but you do buy the 3 you need, and you save $14 because you didn't buy those. Or you buy the 3 that you need at full price and you still only paid $30. So even paying full price for the 3 patterns that you need and are going to sew up immediately, you know you are going to use without a doubt. And I'll explain why I'm saying that and emphasizing that here in just a second. But you are still saving $5 and you are not wasting those 2 patterns. I firmly believe that overconsumption happens in digital products as well. It's harder to see, it's harder to track, it's not wasteful in a physical sense, like they say overconsumerism, people buying 50 water bottles, but you are wasting so much money buying these patterns that you think you're going to use. And the reality is we just really don't have as much time as we think. And like I said, maybe you do and you sew up all the patterns. So if you do, that is amazing that you stick to that. But most people don't. And most people can probably go and look at patterns online that they have purchased and see that, one, they haven't even downloaded them yet, possibly, or they haven't even opened them and sewn them up if they have downloaded them. So what I have done for myself, because I am telling you this because I fell into the trap, and I fell into it hard when I first discovered PDF patterns. And I would see all of these beautiful makes and see things that I loved that other people had made and say, I want that pattern, but I'm not going to pay full price for it. So during the sale, I'm going to stock up and buy all of these patterns. And now I haven't done it. I know enough that it hurts inside to know how many patterns I have that I have not sewn up. And the money that is sitting with those patterns, and some of those patterns I don't even want to sew up anymore, or I found out that I don't like their size chart for that company and things don't fit me right, so I'm not going to sew up those patterns. And I just don't want that to be you. So if you haven't fallen into that trap yet, don't think before you buy your patterns. If you have fallen in that trap, I highly recommend doing a self-audit. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, just pull up a couple of the sites where you buy a lot of your patterns and just look at how many patterns you haven't used. And I am saying this to you as a pattern designer and someone that sells patterns, to please don't shop sales. I do offer sales for my patterns occasionally just because I know sometimes even at full price somebody can't afford a pattern, but I don't even want to know the amount of money I've spent on patterns that I'm not going to use because I bought them because I was going to sew them up eventually. And looking back, some of those patterns I don't even like anymore. It's not even something that I would wear, or my kids have grown out of a size range for that item that I bought. I didn't have the fabric for it, and so yeah, I had to sit and wait until I found the right fabric for it, whatever. But now what I have done for myself is I have set a rule that if I am not going to cut out the pattern immediately after purchasing the pattern, I do not buy it yet. I will pay full price for that pattern when I need it instead of buying it during a sale thinking I'm going to sew it eventually. There's a couple exceptions to that. Paper patterns, we're not including those because those do go out of print and you could not potentially be able to get that in the future, or like if a company's going out of business and you're not going to ever be able to get those patterns again. Those are really the two big exceptions for it. But I also use a projector, so that's why I say immediately. I can purchase it, download it, and start cutting it out within a couple minutes. But if I was printing, I would have to print it immediately, piece it, and that would be my next project that I am sewing. And that just really forces me to restrict the patterns that I buy to what I am going to use. And I highly recommend you implementing that. Now, maybe you really can't afford to pay full price for a pattern, and that's totally understandable. But if you can't afford to pay full price for a pattern, you probably shouldn't be buying 3 patterns when they're on sale because you're paying more. And when you buy only 1 pattern at a time, you, 1, might cut down on the patterns that you're going to use, so you're going to save money there, and 2, you're going to have them spaced out, so you could do $10 on this paycheck, and then 2 months down the road you save up and you have that next $10 to be able to buy that pattern, and in the meantime you were able to use that extra money for something else. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm not here to tell you to stop buying patterns. If it's something you really want to do and spend your money on, go for it. But I really recommend sitting down and looking at the PDF patterns you have bought or are thinking about buying, and really think about if you are going to use them. I have my projector now, so, and that's the other thing, is some of those patterns were before I had my projector, so they don't even have projector files, which I know you can do all of that and piece it, but I don't want to. I refuse to buy a pattern anymore without a projector file. If a pattern company cannot produce a projector file, then I'm not going to buy their pattern. As a pattern designer, the projector file is the easiest file to create, and if they aren't going to adapt to what I need, I am not going to do the work for them and do extra work to create a projector file. So that's a whole nother thing with a lot of older patterns, is they don't have them, and that wasn't something I was thinking about when I bought those patterns. So if I have it now, if I really want to sew it, yes, I'll take care of it and work with it because I did already pay for it, but I'm not going to pay for that in the future. And the last thing I'm going to mention with this is, don't be afraid to hack a pattern. If you see a look that you like on one pattern, but it's similar to another pattern, and there's a way you could work with a base pattern and get the look you like, then do it. Like color blocking, there's some pattern companies that release almost identical patterns, but one has a color blocking option and maybe a different sleeve style. Making changes like that are really easy. Or you take like a dolman and you cut it and you add a gathered skirt. There are so many tutorials on how to make simple adjustments to a pattern to fit the look you like. You don't need 8 different patterns just because they have different necklines. You can adjust a neckline on a pattern to fit what you want, and you can create your own neckband size for it. Don't be afraid to do that because it is going to save you a ton of money. I'm also a firm believer that if you have a couple good base patterns, you can make almost anything from it. Now, obviously, again, there's exceptions to that, but if you have a good, nice t-shirt that fits you nicely, you can make it a tank top, you can adjust the sleeves, you can add gathers, you can make it a dress. There's so many things you can do with just one pattern, and you just have to have the confidence and try it. The more you do it, the easier it'll be. Start with something simple like making a shirt sleeveless instead of having sleeves, or making your shirt longer and hemming it instead of having a band. There's just so many simple things like that that you can do to completely change the look of a pattern and get more use out of it. So I hope you found this video helpful. You know, you do what you want to do. It's your money, so spend it how you want. But I know we all could use a couple extra dollars here and there in our bank account. And this is a great way to save a couple dollars if you are in the sewing world or just getting into sewing. The other thing is there's also a lot of free patterns, and I know I'm kind of going back. So don't be afraid to look for a free pattern and then go back to that hacking it to get the look you want without having to buy a pattern. So again, just some food for thought to think about before you go and spend your money on a digital pattern, because you cannot return it. That is like the number one thing about PDF digital files. They are donezo. As soon as you hit that complete button, there's no turning back. Once you buy that pattern, it's yours. You can't do anything with it. You can't return it. You can't sell it. You can't give it to somebody else. It is a pattern for you. Legally, it is only yours. It is a digital file, so there is no transferring that file to somebody else in any way, shape, or form. So that's something you really need to think about. Paper patterns, you can typically resell or recoup that value or gift it to somebody else. But with those digital files, that's another thing that you can't do. So again, just think before you buy and look at the patterns that you already have before you buy, so that you don't buy something very identical to another style. But I would just love to hear your thoughts on shopping pattern sales. Do you do it? Do you not do it? Do you think you should? Do you think you shouldn't? I don't know, just kind of opening up the conversation on that. That's not something I ever really see anybody talking about, and I just want to bring that to people's attention, that it can be an issue when you let it be. And yeah, I just don't want that to become an issue for any of you. Other than that, you can also find me on Instagram. It's at Sewbexx, it's SEWBEXX, and you can reach out to me there. You can slide into my DMs and we can chat. If you want any advice on any patterns or hacks that you can do to a pattern you have, I would love to chat, and I'm very willing to help you with whatever it may be. But other than that, thanks for watching. Bye.